Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 69 of Material Issues. It's going to be a great one today. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. Normally joining me from the West Coast, because I'm all the way over here on the East Coast, is my good friend David Bash of the International Pop Overthrow Festival, but he's in Arlington, Texas. He's not somewhere out in space with Robot behind him. David, how are you today on this fantastic? Well, it's mid-morning for you. It's early afternoon for me.
It's 1 o'clock here. I'm doing great, and so glad to not only am I glad to be here, but I'm glad to be here in the office of Alan Pecci, head honcho of Spider Pop Records, because because we're doing IPO at his venue, Black Box 215. Starting tomorrow, but because he has this absolutely perfectly done replica of the original robot from Lost in Space, as everyone can see to the side of me.
I love it.
It talks with the actual recording of Bob May, who did the original voice. So it does everything that robot did.
I kind of want it. Yeah. I kind of want it.
Yeah, who doesn't? I don't think it's going anywhere though, unless it's in one of his other locations. But so I figured that's a perfect '60s iconic figure would be just the right milieu for this particular show.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So we're definitely, I have my water today because I am nervous because these guys are more or less pop idols of mine.
Yes, indeed. And, yes, indeed.
I know I'm going to get choked up, even though they have played the International Pop Overthrow Festival back in '99 at the El Rey, which definitely one of my greatest IPO memories. We had the whole band, the whole active band at the time, and it was just an amazing show.
When you told me they were going to join us on this episode, you saw what happened a couple of weeks ago. I literally fell off my chair, and I'm just recuperating from that now in order to be here live. So this is going to be a great one. So looking forward to it.
So I'm going to do a little watch check here. If I can get this one off my hand. I don't know why it's sticking. Oh, because I'm not. Got it. I got it on, so to speak. Now I can't get it off. That is so weird. I guess I've been wearing this forever now.
Yep, just keep it on your wrist. We'll bury you with it.
This is why when you buy an homage for a lot. All right, here we go.
You bought an homage.
This is the Pagani design homage to the Rolex Hulk. The Rolex Hulk goes for about 16 grand. This goes for about $100, but it's absolutely beautiful. And I think it's prettier than the original Hulk because the Hulk has the bezel and the dial are the same color green. On this one, the bezel has a little bit of gray in the green, so they play off each other. So the homage is definitely in some ways better than the original.
Absolutely gorgeous. Good watch, buddy.
I just bought a watch from a company in Austin. I figure when in Texas, support the state.
Support Texas.
I don't have it yet though. It was mailed, but I should have it tomorrow.
And Rena got you your birthday watch, so happy belated late birthday with that as well. So you're
right.
You're watched out. Yeah, I love it.
I'll never be watched out. I have way too many now. Anyone who's listening, if you're selling like old Rolexes or Omegas or anything classic like that, let me know because I might be in the market. But I digress, and we should not digress any further because we have just amazingly special guests today, as I mentioned, and I know a lot of you who are listening were fans of this group when you were, just youngins like me.
Younger, yeah.
I'll never forget the Rain and Park and Other Things being on the radio. I was, when it was a hit, I had just turned 9. And seeing them on TV so many times. 3 top 10 hits, great albums, greater than the critics ever thought. But, the critics are idiots. And they're still going strong. They have an album coming out in a couple of weeks called Rhythm of the World. I've heard it. I love it. They're on Omnivore Recordings, same label as the IPO compilation. So they're label mates of mine, which is, I'm beyond thrilled about that. So all these years, still going strong, possibly stronger than ever, and still doing a lot of live performances. And I can't wait to see them. I'm sure some people watching have already done so. But anyway, without further ado, would you please give a huge welcome to Bob, Paul, and Susan, the Cowsills.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hey,
Paul put his green screen up. I put mine down.
You guys see the robot? The robot is definitely compatriots of yours from back in the day.
What's cool about that robot is he belongs to Bill Mooney, who, I mean, it doesn't belong to him, but our brother is in a band with Bill Mooney, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. And does he really have the voice of Robot?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
I wish I could say it was mine, but it's not.
Mark, we have to acknowledge the T-shirt. We have to acknowledge the T-shirt.
Yes, Mark.
I'm gonna need more Cowsill.
I can't take credit for it. I happened to see somebody online somewhere had it. It was a little different. It said, "Forget cowbell. I'm going to need more Cowsill." But I said, you know what? I said, if you know the joke, you don't even need the words "forget cowbell." You got to know how good that is. And I got to tell you, I know we've already mentioned the new album coming out. We'll talk about it a little bit later on in the show. But I had a vision today that I talked to Lorne Michaels, because new season of SNL, and we're going to have Christopher Walken. He's going to host the show, and he's going to say, "Guys, I'm going to need a little more Cowsill."
You just read my mind, Mark.
And people are saying, "Oh, you mean cowbell?" And he goes, "No, ladies and gentlemen, the Cowsills." And you come out and you play Rhythm of the World or whatever song from the new album. And I just lost it. I said, that's genius.
Are you for real?
Mark,
no, I'm just saying.
Mark, Paul, this is Paul. This is your guy. This is right up our alley. I'm serious. That is beautiful.
I want to say that when you said, when I'm looking at your shirt, I am sitting here on my porch going, wouldn't it be hilarious if Christopher Walken could do a little snippet and go, more Cowsill? That's what I thought. And then you launched in. That's hilarious. I guess we're going on Saturday Night Live. But anyway.
We got to try to make it happen, because I read somewhere, with the new season, with all the new, comedians they're trying to get on, they also don't have a full idea of musical guests. And
this is amazing. What
better way than to have one of the all-time iconic skits with more cowbell, to have Christopher Walken say, I'm going to need more Cowsill, and everybody go, wait a minute, you got the line wrong. And he goes, no, ladies and gentlemen, the Cowsills. And
right on, man.
Mark,
your lips are gorgeous, Mark.
It's right here.
Awesome. More Cowsills and more milk.
Hey, believe me, we're after the milk people too. We want another campaign.
Yeah,
you can show our old commercials and then show us today. We did drink milk, and look
how great you look. Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, we're still here anyway.
We're coming up with ideas. We're gonna have to put these things in play. I'll be in touch. I'm gonna start poking people.
And it all started with one little T-shirt.
We'll only give you a third. We'll only give you a third assignment. We can fly to the airlines. Okay, we're done. Okay, thank you.
We're done. All right, that's it.
Some good years for the tires. Okay, I'm done.
I have to commend you guys, though, to be able to put out amazing albums like We Can Fly and Rhythm of the World in that great a time span is truly phenomenal. And you guys deserve all the accolades that hopefully you're going to get.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
And I do want to make mention, happy birthday, Barry, heavenly birthday.
That is today, you guys.
That is today. So that was something I wanted to make sure. And also, Susan, a little thing, last week I was at a record store and I was goofing off, and I go through the 45s, and I pulled out a 45 because I thought it looked great. I brought it home, And the other night I was watching this podcast you guys were on last year, Media Path podcast, because I wanted to see your personalities and see just exactly what I was dealing with when it comes to Material Issues Live. And you talked about your passion and love for Glenn Campbell.
Oh yes.
The
Yeah, Glenn Campbell,
145 I picked up last week.
Oh my gosh.
Glenn Campbell, this is what I picked up. True Grit.
Oh,
He's singing.
love it.
It is backed with his version of Hava Nagila.
Are you
Yeah.
serious? Who knew?
Oh, wow.
I
Who
never
knew?
knew Glenn did
One
Hava
of my
Nagila.
tribe, yeah.
But how? I mean, how cool is that? I went 45 shopping. I picked up one, and then I listened to your impassioned love of Glenn Campbell on that podcast. So
I'm just going to tell you guys something that I think this whole podcast has a little shroud of the supernatural all over it, frankly.
a little bit.
Paulie's got something.
Well, I just wanted to let you guys know that, and I don't know if this is what you're referring to, but Susan actually gave Glenn Campbell his Grammy.
Oh.
Year he got that Grammy.
Oh, we presented that year, yeah.
Wow, is that available to see anywhere?
Well, here's what happened, y'all. The day Glenn died, I was super sad. Like I said, I always felt like I should take care of him, follow him around. I don't know what. The day he died, I got a text or something. Somebody had sent a picture out of a 16 magazine, which was all of us, Bob, Paul, me. We're all up on stage. Paul is lifting me up. My tights are for everybody to see. And I am in the process of giving Glenn Campbell his Grammy by the time I get to Phoenix, which I didn't remember, which that tied it all in for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I definitely had to do my homework for this show. Not only because I've been a longtime fan, obviously, but when I watched the documentary that is very well known now, Family Band, when Paul got on Dick's case about not doing your work, I said Paul's going to be a tough one. So I better be prepared for this show. So Paul, I'm prepared.
Right. Very good, Bob.
I've done my work. I've done my work. We had somebody who just wrote in, wanted to know the history behind Ask the Children.
That's my brother Joel. Hi, Joel. Bob, you probably don't remember this, but one time at a Dodger game, I had interviewed you for Oddities magazine back in '95, and he came along with me. And then a week later, you're at the Dodger game, and who would be sitting right in front of you but my brother Joel? And he heard your name. He heard your name mentioned, so he turned around. Bob Cowsill, and there he was. So
I remember all encounters like that at Dodger Stadium because that may have been the only one like that.
Yeah, so Joel was asking about Ask the Children. So.
Absolutely, totally. No one ever did that again in my life. Okay.
Okay, so the question is about the song "Ask the Children."
It said, "Can you tell me the history behind it?"
I think Bob, would you know that? I actually know the guy who wrote it, Artie Wayne. But Bob, do you know anything about? I was pretty little.
Yeah, we were just looking for material and always had a relationship with the publishing companies that brought us songs to record. Yeah. And Ask the Children, I mean, clearly we were looking for something for Susan and in this band of ours. And we came up with that. And she did such a great vocal. I think I did the part of it with her. It's a little cool lead vocal by her and me. And really crispy and young. Yeah, we loved it. That was a pretty song.
I loved that song. I mean, look, when you're a little kid and you're trying to fit in, I've had like two songs that I could actually feel like I could express as a child.
Just the children that tell you.
Bob, I wanted to ask you about one of my favorite Cowsill songs that most people don't know. I wish they did. What's It Gonna Be Like? I don't know if you remember, but you were doing a dinner show at a restaurant in Venice, and I was there. I was trying to impress the woman I was with, so I said, "Hey Bob, can you play What's It Gonna Be Like?" And you played like the first 4 notes, and then said, "I don't know the rest of it," which you probably did know the rest of it. But
I kind of
that was on. Now you were on Joda first, and I guess
that was. Look, I was a 13-year-old on Indian Avenue up in my bedroom. pretending I was worldly. I've been almost everywhere, trying my hand with this and that. I mean, I'm 13. Come on. I mean, right? Okay. And so, but it was the music. It was just the music, and you always had to say something. At 13, I guess I better say something. It was nothing serious as a lyricist.
Is that the one that kind of has the Birds guitar, Bob?
What's it gonna be like? No, that's don't know what it's all about. But it's like,
gonna be like?
Yeah. I've been almost everywhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere. You've been nowhere. Anyway.
It's an awesome song, and it showed up on a compilation with a band called the Lincoln Park Zoo. Did you ever meet those guys?
Lincoln Park Zooers were just a group they were trying to launch, and we were already famous by then. And this was stuff we recorded before we got famous, and that they put on this album because it was very good. It didn't get us famous. And they took advantage of our fame at the time to launch this new group by taking our old stuff and put something interesting along with what they were doing on the album. We had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's a common tale. I remember when the Osmonds got really big, Uni re-released one of their singles that had bombed originally, and it bombed again. So usually that doesn't work.
Well, usually when you drop from the label's probably correct. So you got to get over that.
Well, guys, I got to ask you, like early on when you started, Bill, Bob, Barry, John, that was the four guys forming a band and doing their thing. Paul, why weren't you involved early on? Like, why wasn't it Bill, Bob, Barry, Paul, and John?
Well, I'm the middle child, and there were 3 above me and 3 under me, and I was just like I was moving in and out of that whole family. I was trying to go unseen, and I was so into sports. I thought I was destined for that life, honestly, and but at the same time, when it was Barry and Bill and Bob and John, we were all involved, I mean, me and my brother Richard would go out on the road with them and stand stage right and stage left in front of them so nobody would harm them.
Like
and we also took care of all the gear, and we did that whole gear thing. But it wasn't like hey, these guys are the band and you guys aren't the band, but here's what you're going to do. This was a family, and so everybody in the family, even back that far, had a position, had something to do with it. And so although they were making the music, I really honestly never felt like I wasn't making it with them, even though I wasn't with them.
And honestly, Paul, to your point, at home, and I never even thought of this until you just said it the way you did, because my mom, when you guys would do the New York thing and you'd all go, we did the clothes, and I would help my mom get all the clothes together that was going to go in the suitcases to go in the van for Paul to, it was a thing like that in those early days. That's interesting. I'll
tell you what, I'll tell you what, Mark and David, you know what? I eventually just went up to my dad and I said, "Hey dude, how do I get in this thing?" He goes, "Well, what do you do?" And I go,
"What sport
did you want to sing?"
Did you want to be a baseball player?
Oh yeah, he was great.
Yeah, baseball and football. Baseball and football were my
now listen, here's a little hint of what was going to be, because during the time Paul just described, he's the roadie, Rich is the roadie, and they're those guys. Listen, we took it on our own, the kids did, to get Paul during those days before MGM, before any record label, to put him in a white suit. We called him our soul brother, and we stuck him out in our show when we wanted to really pump the audience. About halfway through, we'd say, "We're going to bring our soul brother Paul up here." Look, Paul was 11 or 12. He'd do anything we said.
He's
and he went out and he started singing Mickey's Monkey. That was his song.
Oh, nice.
Out in front, and we're all dressed alike behind him, but he's in a white suit. So look, we had a blast with this guy from day one. He was going to come in, after Rain the Park and just before We Can Fly, but he had been in it all along in terms of the kids' perception.
Listen, we were staunch Mickey Mouse people. We would dance with those kids. We sang with those kids. Paul would lead us.
So when you guys are playing a lot, because you up in the Northeast, you played a lot in 64, 65, 66, those compilation albums came out before the Cowsills. album came out in '67. You guys were playing a lot. Who was booking? Who was booking the gigs? Who were your roadies? Were you carrying all your own stuff and setting it up? That's because looking at the schedule I saw online somewhere, someone had a day-to-day thing. You were doing quite a lot for a very young band.
And I heard you always love to set up early. Sorry.
Ha ha.
Yes, Mr. Flynn. Hey, listen, it's true. We loved, to this day, we could live on the road and have pretty much done that a number of months in a row. But look, Dad was booking it. We were easy to book. I mean, look, here's how Dad booked it. He got permission to let us set up in the middle of the student housing at Brown University and perform. And then we got gigs at Brown University. He was innovative in that way. He was an entrepreneur in that way. And we were so good. Look, I mean, that's an observational comment, not ego, but we were good young. And I don't know why there isn't more footage, more pictures, more cameras of all this action since we were that good, but that's not how you did it back then. There we are. You know,
there you are.
We sound like the Beatles. We knew how to sound like anybody we attempted. We could cover that group and sound like them. If I Feel Fine was a hit on the radio, wherever we're playing that night, all the kids know we're playing I Feel Fine. Boom. End of discussion. So they found us early. We were one of the first tribute bands to the genre during the genre because we did it.
Wow. Yeah.
How did you get your deal with MGM?
Artie Kornfeld.
Me.
Yeah, basically Artie was our producer. We met at Mercury Phillips, who's going to drop us after a few attempts. Artie's incensed. How could you drop them? These guys are good. We bonded. He's our George Martin. And he left with us. He wrote with Steve Duboff, The Rain in the Park, and other things for us, they say, in a very short time. Took us into the studio on his money. We have no label, no money. Recorded it with the brothers as you hear it, except just after we left the studio, between that and MGM, they're going to put Mom in our failing teenage boy rock group. Okay. The boys have been dropping 2 labels. The boys have had 4 releases. Something's wrong with the boys. Probably they look like every other rock group of the day. Okay. Which is true. Mom comes in. We got to go back to the studio, put her on The Rain in the Park. She's petrified. She's never recorded. She's out there doing the melody. I love the flower girl of the song. And I'm right behind her doing it with her. That's her and I doubled on that part to get her through it. And then Mom's in the band. They took the whole package to MGM through Lenny Stogel, a management that Artie was associated with, and they got behind it. And this was going to happen now.
So your mom wasn't originally on the track when you recorded it. Did they bring her in after the fact to hit the harmony? Okay.
We had to go back into the studio and get her on that record. Geez, I don't know why. Hey, let's give her the melody, like kind of important, right? Of the chorus. But her voice was high. Her and I together, my voice was high. And we had to be legit. We had to get her on it. We just couldn't tell people.
And with all the wonderful harmonies you guys were doing, and you were already doing that as a 4-piece, just to add Paul and Susan and Mom, I mean, that just makes the spectrum go like this.
That took the vocal stack and sent it as far as our vocal stack could go.
Yeah.
Okay, physically.
Probably the greatest strength. I mean, you and Bill were amazing songwriters, and of course Kornfeld and Duboff. But I think the greatest strength of your songs is the arrangements. They're like no other. And The Rain in the Park and other things might have the greatest arrangement of any pop song I've ever heard. Who were your arrangers at that time, and how did you get so lucky?
I'm sure Artie was associated of Jimmy Wisner. Jimmy Wisner is an arranger, the Wiz. He did Spanking Our Gang. I mean, if you listen to Sunday Will Never Be the Same in The Rain Park, it's the same day in the same groups. Okay, it is.
Jimmy Bob, can I ask you a question? Yeah. Who arranged the vocals on that?
Well, me and Bill did all the vocal arranging.
Oh.
Yeah, we did that. No one ever spoke to any of us about vocal arranging ever.
Wow. On The Rain in the Park and other things, you did the vocals?
We had that all
set.
We just had a knack for it.
That's why I asked.
Wow.
And basically, we always did, and to this day, even with Rhythm of the World, should we do it? It seems like a lot. Well, do it. Later, we won't use it if we think it's too much. And we never didn't use it. We used everything.
Such is not enough.
Like Klaatu used to say, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing.
No doubt. At that time, when I mean, obviously the
That's a
singles.
Cowsill tribal cry.
The singles the singles are what brought you fame. But did you? How much did you really care about your albums? Were you proud of them? Were you trying to make a really good album?
Always we were doing that, but I would say later when Bill left, and it's me and Paulie and Barry, and we're going to reconstitute ourselves. The 2x2 and On My Side album, those two albums were where it was at. That's the lab. We were really rocking it in there.
Right.
The earlier albums, you walk in, the studio musicians were there. But We Can Fly, we're working with Artie Streck and Herb Bernstein and Charlie Colello and Jimmy Wisner. So we're working with great arrangers, but they took the gear out of our hand. For 2x2 and On My Side, later, after our career is failing, and these records and recording is nothing about that. You're going in and doing your best with your songs. We've always been about that.
And it was
sometimes
fun.
you're signed, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you get released. Sometimes it's going to the library shelf of the family. And that's okay too, just as long as you do it.
Yeah.
2x2 is definitely one of the more underrated albums of all time. More people should know about that one.
Thank you.
We have found great reviews of 2x2 and On My Side online of people who've come to them lately and gone through it and said, you know what, people, and that kind of thing. So that's fun.
I know we'll mention this at some point, but there's definitely got to be a Cowsill box set put together of everything.
You got to get real famous, man. You got to be Sinatra, the Kingston Trio.
Either that or all of us dead.
Well, you know what though, Bob? The label in England, Cherry Red, has been doing a lot of box sets of bands who are less famous than you guys. So
can I say something?
Yeah.
Omnivore Recordings themselves, our label, specialize in box sets. We are not anti-box set. We got some work to do before that, but there is stuff. We found our very first 1965. I'm like 14 and Barry's 10 and John's 8. We found our very first 19 songs we ever recorded in 1965. Jimmy.
That was going to be my question.
Songs we've written. No one has ever heard any of these.
Oh my
God.
God.
A lot of unreleased stuff. That was another question.
I'm going to be a fanboy right now and say, I want to hear that stuff.
Listen, you should hear it. I looked up John Mayer online. He did Bright Lights, Big City. I'm going, Jimmy Reed song, pretty good. But the version we did when I was 14 was better. And in my opinion, it's just my opinion. But yeah, we were with Johnny Nash at the time just before that. So he's turning us on to Jimmy Reed, and all these songs. These were our black years in New York. The Joda was a black label. The writers were black. The musicians were black. Producers were black. Engineers were
awesome.
black. We were the only white kids in the mix. Played at the picnics. It was fantastic.
How did that happen?
Yeah, I was just going to say. And I forgot what I was going to say. So,
all right, you waited too long. Put your finger up there. How did the Johnny Nash thing happen?
Well, the whole New York scene, when we were going to New York, and it was Johnny Nash, and it was incredible. That happened because we got on the Today Show. This writer we were playing at Dorian's in Newport, Rhode Island. We're a club band, and hey, look at these guys, they're good. Bring them to New York, and we got on the Today Show. And that led to Joda, that led to Mercury Phillips, that led to MGM, and it all led to Rhythm of the World.
Which is we've interviewed a lot of artists from the 60s, and things like that don't happen today anymore. But back then it was like, tonight we were playing this little club, and then tomorrow we were signed by whatever, or we just walked into this major label, handed them a tape, and they were like, oh, this is great, we're going to sign you. But in your case, you were playing and you were doing these gigs in Dorian's, and someone saw you, and the next day you're getting ready to go on the Today Show. That's just mind-blowing timing and right place, right time with the talent that people went, hey, let's make this happen, and things just explode from there. Just amazing stuff.
The
world's too big. What do you got, Paulie?
Well, I was just going to say, everything. It's funny. You need to what you said, Mark, about being in the right place at the right time. That's crucial for anybody in this business. They can have the best album ever.
Yeah.
And they can have it all going on, but the bus just doesn't stop at their corner. And so you always need to be ready, to happen. It's so crazy how it all gets done, but you need a bit of luck.
It wouldn't come your way if you guys weren't talented either. I mean, if you would have really sucked that night at Dorian's, someone would have walked out of there and went, but you didn't, obviously.
Right,
And
It's
you
a
grew.
combination of everything, y'all. It's Dick
It
Clark
is.
told us once that if we stay our path, we stay alive, we stay healthy, we stay just making music because we love it like we have. He said, you keep doing that and it will eventually come around again. It's a time thing. You know, you got to stay alive. But,
Was
you
this
know,
all
we
like a
did.
Yeah.
So,
Was this
yay
all like a
did.
complete whirlwind
Right.
for you? I mean, it seemed like every day you had something else going on back in the day. All the TV shows you were on. Was that? I mean, did you
Of
have
course
time
it
to
was,
breathe?
yeah.
To breathe.
It was fun.
We
Yeah, we
breathe.
were little
You know, we were a
kids.
bunch of, yeah, we right on, Susan. We were little kids, and everything that came our way at the time was so exciting.
It was a blast.
I mean, you know, come on, we were like really almost hobos. The Cowsills were from the other side of the track, and then all of a sudden, all this stuff happens, and we end up on that side of the track. But
I mean,
in
look.
our hearts and minds, we really are that side of the track.
I mean, we're growing up. We're you know what you're calling really busy. So we're on tour, and then we go see this movie called Oliver, and then next job we've got is we get to go sing with the kid who plays the Artful Dodger in Oliver. Well, boy, I mean, that's our work. That's what we're getting ready to go do next. So
Was that Jack Wild?
yeah.
Jack Wild, yeah.
But we were
Okay.
little kids, and this is, I mean, we're playing make believe 24/7.
Well, and you guys on all the different videos you see from the 60s, you guys always seemed very comfortable in doing what you were doing. It wasn't like you were under a boatload of pressure, although it's a very pressure situation. You'd be under. Paul always had a great sense of humor. He seemed to take over the mic a lot, which I think was great. Matter
I
of fact,
think the later it got, y'all, the more pressure it got. Those early
yeah.
days, we were just, you know, anytime we could get out from under and be ridiculous and have fun and get away with it, it was a good time. So stage, TV, it provided that. Later, things were different, you know.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's
one of the
always
things
been-
that I noticed in the documentary, I couldn't believe how many TV shows that you guys were on. Susan, don't take this the wrong way, but you were on more laps than a $10 hooker. Let me tell you.
Dude, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I totally know that. And I'm just a lucky girl to have survived whatever was unpleasant about it, which was really in Lapland, and the one you're talking about was fairly minimal. And it was more good news than bad news, because guys like Johnny Cash and Dean Martin, who are big, imposing men, were some of the most, they taught me what, other than my wonderful brothers, like they were a great example of what a real gentleman was. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
hello, lap turn, you know, whatever with that.
You know, we were fortunate as a group back then to get those TV shows. Not everybody got them.
No.
You only saw a group in person on a TV show. Well, I guess that was it. Or you heard them on the radio. So the family was embraced. Of course, Ed Sullivan just loved us till he didn't like our dad, but he loved us. And Jonathan Winters, Susan named him, Dean Martin, and Johnny Cash, and who was a great fan. These shows became our videos later in life, you know, because back then you didn't do videos. Again, I don't know why. If we were that good, where's a video of us? I see World War I videos. You know?
It wasn't a consciousness, but good point.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't anybody. Hey, look at these good kids. Should we film it? No, just look at them. They're pretty good. But it's okay. We love the TV shows, and we use them now, even today, as our videos.
Oh yeah, I mean, you wish more things would have been saved from those days. I know there's like a 6 or 7 year period of American Bandstand that was completely lost and gone. Just gone.
No one cared, and it's just tragic.
No, hey, we'd love that first 20 minutes we did on the Today Show when we were nobodies. That would be good.
Wouldn't that be something?
Susan fell. No, she's okay. Oh my God.
All right, Susan, you're
The cat's
you're
not
okay.
doing so
Good.
well down
It's the
below.
hammock.
I'm fine.
It's on a dangerous hammock. That makes it live. It makes it
I'm
fun.
in Louisiana. Come on, you guys. It's very
No,
You know, it's
go,
interesting.
Paul Cowsill.
Besides TV, you're also, of course, in 16 and Tiger Beat all the time. And this is something, you know, you talk about kids who were stars and they were in those kind of magazines, and they had a squeaky clean image, of course, in those magazines. Like some of the other people, like Susan Olsen could not stand being Cindy Brady and didn't like that people thought of her that way. Were you guys a bit rowdier, more rebellious than your image, or were you really squeaky clean good kids?
We were not squeaky clean good kids.
Pardon?
We were not squeaky clean good kids. I mean, we were good kids. We just weren't squeaky clean.
Right.
That was all brought to you by Madison Avenue, you know, and we were hungry little kids. We knew that this is what we wanted, you know, like the box set. The box set can't be done right now because we're not done, you know, and we have a new album coming out that would have to be a part of that box set, but we're just now, you know, putting it out and all that. So, you know, we have to wait on these things because we've been doing this so long that it's just not over yet.
No, it's clearly not over. Like I said,
we were very normal, but like Paul said, I mean, if Roger, back then you could control your image. Okay, you can't do that anymore. Certainly back then you can, and we did. And who wouldn't want to be in our family? We're hearing from all the, no, I want to be in your family. We're going, no, you don't. They go, yes, I do. I say, you think you want to be in our family.
But I mean, look.
It was a different time.
It was. And so like good kid, not good kid. So we had a level of danger we lived under in our house and we knew it. And yet it did not stop us from pressing the envelope slightly and doing things that we wanted to do that we shouldn't be doing, like filming people in the streets of New York and making believe they're on candid camera and convincing them of it while we're having some downtime. Little things like that, you know, and little pranks that really we shouldn't be doing, but we're doing. So no, I think the Osmonds were better behaved children than we were.
Oh, gotta be.
I would imagine they were, yeah.
But they didn't have to be as well behaved as we should have been.
Our big thrill when we were kids was to go out into the bay that we lived in front of and stop the ferry with our little sailboats.
Yeah.
Which was like totally against the law.
Speaking against the law. Speaking of against the law, now is this true? I've heard rumors to this effect, but was Bill kicked out of the band because your dad found him smoking pot in a hotel room?
More or less. Not quite that.
That's the kind of scene that would be in the documentary turned into a movie and be acceptable. Like, okay, he found him in a room. No, he found a little shake and a tiny remnants of pot in his Riviera car. The Sunday we were leaving for the East Coast to go on tour. That was no bueno. So he scooped it all up and brought it into the living room, put it on the living room coffee table, called us all to order. And we went down and said, this is what happens. Looked at us and said, this is what happens when you don't obey the rules. And he threw Bill out of the family and he threw Bill out of the group right then and there. And we all went to LAX without him. That
piled in the station wagons.
Before that show, on that concert, Paul, I learned Bill's stuff, Paul learned my stuff. There's so many of us on stage. It didn't even make the news. Hey, where's Bill? It's like we all look. We could have been the Osmonds for all the audience knew back then. You know, I mean, it's just all confusing. But that's what happened. And that's why now there was a build up to that. But that was the final straw. And that's when the collapse took place. It took place at the Santa Monica living room right then and there.
Remember it well.
That was the beginning of the end.
What was that Latin band that every time the kid got too old, they threw the kid out of the band? Menudo. Do you think there's a Menudo effect to that where Bill was kind of aging out of the Cowsills because he was doing his stuff and whatever?
Father conflict with sons that had been building over the years with all of us, but it became intolerable between Bill and our father.
Now you want to talk about pressure though, because you took off and now Bob, you had to do all the guitar parts. You've got to sing more songs than you were normally singing.
You have no idea what that
went up the ladder.
Was insane.
We all had to do more. We all had to do more.
Everybody
went up the ladder. And you know what?
I learned keyboards on that weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
We had a knack to pull it together. We pulled the whole thing together.
Good. Learn the keyboard.
and you're so afraid of your father.
Means what he says. I learned that Dad means what he says.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That's what I learned. And he'd been telling me something for a long time that I was super glad I hadn't pressed. When I saw that, I went,
wow.
Our job is to rescue the mess that left behind.
Yeah.
And we did the best we could.
We did. No. I mean, I know he wasn't the oldest sibling, but he was the oldest sibling in the band. And with strict fathers,
Oh,
I
no,
can
he
tell
was.
you this from my own
Yeah.
experience. The oldest child always gets it worse.
No, he was our oldest for sure.
Yeah.
Billy was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that's good. But no, but yeah, that's definitely a turning point in the band, because that happened after. What was the next album without Bill? Then that was
2x2.
Side.
2x2, which had a different feel to it, a different Cowsills, definitely.
Yeah, definitely earthier.
Earthier. There's a good. There's
Bill's gone. The rest of us are now going to reconstitute and redefine ourselves. And we're going to do it, unfortunately, live and in front of everybody, in public, in the studio with the new release. We're not allowed to go away for a couple of years and figure this out. MGM needs a record. So we're going to do this that way. And we're fine with it, okay? We just are fine with most of everything that's happened. We don't pull our hair out. We just go, all right, how do we fix this, or how do we work within this, or now what are we going to do? That's all we ever did. Artie's there, Artie's gone. Oh, now what do we do? Me and Bill are going to produce. Oh, it didn't go to number one, We Can Fly. Let's get Wes Farrell. Oh, he's going to produce Indian Lake. So on Indian Lake. We're not going to get along with Wes. Wes is gone. We do hair. Oh, back to Bill and Bob. We got hair. We're amazed at how well we did in spite of all this interference all along the way.
Yeah.
Well, what's amazing is how much you did as kid, how much control you guys had, how much input you had as kids.
We were teenagers.
That's a rare situation.
Artistically, vocally, and in the studio, no one could talk to us. They didn't know what to say.
And Dad did allow that.
We did fine. We knew what to do.
Which is just amazing. All this is happening at such a young age. It blows my mind to think about. It blows my mind there's no book out there on the Cowsills either. I'm about ready to write a book because
Story's not over yet.
I know it's not over yet. We're but that's why you have a den. It's not over yet.
I think what you guys are alluding to is let's talk about the new album to show everyone out there that it's certainly not over yet. And there it is. Coming out on September 30th, right?
Yes, sir. September 30th is the release date. A lot of, if you Google Cowsills Rhythm of the World, just start scrolling. It's popping up like with Arabic print in Germany.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
It's going everywhere in terms of getting ready on the platform to be listened to and attended to. And this is our moment of truth. It's coming out.
It's out there. There's already Rhythm of the World out on YouTube. And of course, that's where I got my Christopher Walken thing. But here's just for a little sample from that. Classic Cowsill. Love it.
Harmonies is still blessed.
Wonderful stuff.
Man.
Thank you. We're quite excited.
Alan Petsch's Spider Pop Records gives his thumbs up too. He's listening.
Yeah.
If you ever need a new label, no, I know Omnivore must treat you guys really. I love them. So
Omnivore is a great label.
Harold, Dutch, Lee, Greg, if you're watching, we love you.
Yeah, we love them too, man.
We love them too.
We found a home.
We love Omnivore.
No, it's great.
Well, let's talk about the new record a little bit. Where did the writing come from, Bob? Everybody involved in writing the songs?
Absolutely. We were together for 6 summers in a row. Now, one of those summers, we decided to start writing together as the three of us. And it really was a great place to do it because it really got kicked off because we wrote You Gotta Get Up. And what triggered that was Howard Kalin of the Turtles every night telling that to the audience. So you hear that about 50 times every single night. And we start going, there's a song there. Now, look, clearly, there must be 40 songs called Get Up. Such good advice. But anyway, we wanted this. And we wrote that and we realized, well, that was good. I mean, Paul's throwing these lyrics at me like he took them off the internet. I mean, he didn't, but this is how quick he was. So we found out each other's talents, which we got a chance to feed off of that summer. and we got into a writing frenzy. We really did. And it's different combinations, and then a couple of other songs from we've been wanting to record before this group that we're writing, so it's a really coming of age album for us, even at our age. It truly is. We're thrilled with it.
Yeah.
Talk about the track Katrina a little bit.
Yeah, that track, I have to say, I mean, I was crying when I heard Katrina. It's such a tearjerker.
For people who are not in the know, where did that track come from in your heart?
Go ahead, Robert.
Well, I had that opening strum, which felt like this is really weird, but it did feel like something might be offshore threatening. Just on that strum. I have to wait for my sister. Who's wrestling with telephone. Most of us wrestle people.
Still forever. I'm so sorry.
It's good vibrations.
I was going to get dizzy. And anyway, so I had that, and it was a matter of when the Katrina happened and Barry died. As a group, we would occasionally say, "Who's going to write this? Who's going to write this?" Because you're an artist, you're going to write something, I guess. Sure. But for years went by and no one did. I finally did. The lyric came quickly, first person. I'm not going to question that. Clearly, I'm not Barry, but I went with it. And it really does describe, in my opinion, what happened to him, the wave and the whole thing at the end and all of it. And so it was a matter of trying to come up with the power of the hurricane. The middle instrumental segment is just chaos to us. So hopefully that, and just the way Russ's drums bring up the choruses, it's just like you can feel it coming in. We think, so it turned out so well. And thanks to Justin Tockett, our engineer, and ourselves, we all produced and arranged this stuff, so it was really a terrific group effort.
As far as I know, that's Russ. That's Susan's husband still, correct?
That's right.
So far, so good. There.
We're going on 23 years. I think we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Russ Broussard, our drummer, and Mary Lassane. Now, our most recent recording was back in the late 90s with Global, and that had our brother John, who's with the Beach Boys, as everyone knows. That's the answer to where's John. And Robbie Clark was our bass player. That was our rhythm section.
California section.
Our global rhythm section. Now, this group that you hear on Rhythm of the World, we've been touring for 18 years. And so developing, and we always wanted to hear, what will this group sound like? Line up all of our albums. Who's in the band now? It's just our history. It's okay. So it's like we got this group into the studio and we went, holy mackerel. Got very excited, got the songs, and Susan had been pounding us, her brothers, to record, and we would always go, why? And she'd go, well we should. Okay, well.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Now, once we hit the songwriting thing, we started, when you write songs, you want to record. You don't need to have anyone tell you or poke you about it. When you got your songs, you got to record them.
Yeah. And I'll tell you guys, I'll tell you something really, really great and interesting about Rhythm of the World and our rhythm section. Okay. Yeah. Johnny and Robbie, man, it would have been a great album. Okay. They've got the rock and roll 2/4 thing going on.
For sure.
We have Mary Lassane, who was originally from Thibodaux, but a New Orleans musician. Cowboy Mouth was one of her bands and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then Rush. Okay. Rush Broussard. Okay, so I mean, man, if that's not Louisiana, then that name is nothing. So we have a rhythm section so unique to the Cowsills and different for the Cowsills that I think this album, I think that they were able to stretch. We even stretched in our musicality because of those two guys, a gal and guy. Our rhythm section is just, I really believe that's what's given this whole album a different sense.
Yes.
And the thing of it is I mean, the Cowsills will always be at the core of the Cowsills. So when we combined with our Louisiana roots, man, I just think it stirred something very magical up that, is the latest thing that we're doing.
Latest, yeah. Okay.
Are your shows these days? When you do shows now, do you do the new album, and then when you get encores, you do the old stuff, or do you mix it in?
Oh no, always old stuff, always, forever.
Well,
we're a band in transition. Right. We're a band in
Well, that's
transition.
interesting that you say that, Susan, because you may not remember this, but you guys played my music festival, International Pop Overthrow, back in 1999 at the El Rey. And as I recall, your set was pretty much all of Global. And then when the encores came, that's when you did the Rain the Park and other things, We Can Fly and Hair. So you didn't have any of the hits.
But that was intentional. That was a play of Global. So if you're asking when we go out, will we just perform Rhythm of the? I misunderstood. I thought you meant will we now not do old songs? Because
no, not at all. That's what I was asking.
Okay, copy that. Oh, that's a Bob question. I'm just a girl sitting here.
No, I'm saying no. Paul said it. We're in transition. Look, that day where we played Global and give them a hit as an encore, we intentionally, premeditatedly entered the club scene of LA, knowing this is original music that they don't want to hear the boxer. Okay, and we knew that going in, and we wanted that gig. That's what we thrived off of back then. We have evolved into a more commercially accessible band that plays to many people. With many desires of what they want us to do, knowing that we can do many different things. So yes, we still do cover tunes. We've been doing them since Indian Avenue in high school and grade school. Yes, we still do the old hits. How can you not? But yes, we also have started to infiltrate the show with 4 songs from Rhythm of the World in the eventually successful transition to a Rhythm of the World show. And then the Rain the Park is probably an encore because we pulled off something Tony Bennett-ish.
If there was one track off of the new album, Rhythm of the World, that you would want everybody to hear today, like right now, what's the track?
Oh, Rhythm of the World.
Rhythm of the World. It's let's get our stuff together. I mean, but like I love Nuclear Winter.
Nuclear Winter. I was just going to say Nuclear Winter.
For what purpose are we talking here?
Kills. Yeah, I know.
That's
There's people
to represent. I think rhythm. Go, Bob.
That is a tough question because I want to line all 11 children up and I say, you tell me which one's the best kid.
I know.
Yeah, no,
to do it.
It is. I just, I've got certain connections in certain places, and I was thinking Nuclear Winter is perfect for certain areas, as opposed to other things. But the whole album is fantastic.
Are you still able to play Indian Lake live, or is there a PC thing saying?
Funny you should say that, Paulie.
It's Guardian Lake.
One of you guys want it?
Guardian
Lake. It's hard not to do it. It's hard not to do it when our fans are coming to hear it. Okay, look at we were 8, 10, or a bunch of little kids doing this stuff, right? So it's I don't know. It's just
back then, Paul, it was acceptable. No, there probably wasn't much objection at the time, but now obviously we're living in a different.
I'll be honest with you, there hasn't been much objection to it all. It's been incredibly minimal. So we're trying to modify that as we go, but it's one of our hits.
There's only one part of the song though towards the end where you do the ooh type of thing.
I understand. Yeah. Look, it's a unique situation we're in that we're going to be held accountable for something we did when we were 8 or 9 years old. Now, in life, people aren't held accountable for those things, and we all know why. But this is something different where we're going to be called to task if we continue it, I think, kind of thing. Well, we know you were 8 and 9 years old, but why are you continuing? We get the whole complex situation. It's a bunch of war hoops. It's not a big deal. But Indian Lake is a hit in our background that.
And we're going to keep doing it, damn it.
Yeah.
Do you ever do Love American Style?
What's that, David?
Do you ever do Love American Style live?
Every night.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And one more thing about Indian Lake. We've had, because, we all know people all play the Indian casinos. We've had an Indian casino sit us down before a show and say, hey, would you mind not doing the war hoops? And then we've had Indian casinos sit us down where we walk in. Indian Lake is all over their video boards. And we had to play twice
They're
that night.
rolling with us.
That's wonderful, actually.
We're going to roll with the flow of who's in front of us, what it's going to take to keep people happy. We're okay with that.
Yeah, not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. That's for damn sure.
No.
Well, you guys, you guys have had an incredible career, and I think you're very good with it. You loved what you did. It looks like you live in the now and let any regrets go in the past.
You got it.
Because it's we're all here in the now, and we're enjoying this.
Hey, if we're here, we're the lucky ones. That's what I say.
I'm so thankful for all the moments that I've had listening to your songs, and I look forward to many more moments with this brand new album. I'm going to catch you guys in December. I told Bob or Paul. I told Paul at Sellersville Theater up in Sellersville, PA, with your Christmas show. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well,
but
Sellersville, yes.
You're going October in LA?
David, October, LA? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
October in LA.
No, I would not.
I don't know. That's what I thought he said.
Oh, are you not? I thought I heard that you were playing in LA in October. No.
We are coming to town.
We're going to go do Sirius XM
and doing some sit-down interviews. Yes, we will be doing that, but not a concert.
Oh, not
Almost
a concert.
like
You're very welcome, whoever you are. Thank you.
Somebody just said, thanks, Mark and David, for hosting them.
Yeah,
but you know what we want to say?
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Paul, what?
We want everybody to go out there and buy Rhythm of the World. This is a great album, and it's got a lot of messages. And because we're in our 70s and in our 60s, we're allowed to do message songs now because
we're allowed.
We're old enough to have a message.
Now, with that,
it's all good stuff.
Is the best place to follow the album release right here on Cowsill.com?
We have Facebook, the Cowsills Facebook page, Cowsill.com. Look, we are easy to find. We're everywhere out there. And just come and get to us. We're going to be out there. We're going on a Christmas show in Branson from November 1st to December 9th at the Andy Williams Moon River Theater. We're going to be playing every single night, Monday through Saturday. Wow. And that should be a lot of fun. And we're on the Flower Power Cruise in March the whole week. We're going to be there 3 shows. We are out and about, so chase us down.
Well, we will.
And then maybe we're going to be on Saturday Night Live with Christopher Walken. You just never know.
You never know.
No, we do know. You nailed it, Mark. Now we do know. Just from what you came
look,
in
I know that's happening.
It's got to happen.
The manager, Mark's available.
It's a done deal.
All I ask is if it happens that I can just sit in the audience and watch it with a big smile on my face.
Oh, you're coming with us. Don't you worry.
We won't forget it.
I know you guys are far from done, but when that day comes, what would you like your legacy to be?
Ambassadors of love, positivity, that this planet and this life we all get given is a choice to do with it what you want. You can either make it or break it, right, guys?
Yep,
that's right.
And that we stayed true. Yes, there's a clean copy of Cocaine Drain, and Omnivore already has plans to re-release Cocaine Drain and Global.
And that we stayed what, Bob?
What were we talking about, though?
Oh, no, what was your answer to the legacy?
Oh, the legacy thing. That we stayed true artistically, meaning we recorded the Cocaine Drain album, it never got out. Okay, fine, out of step. We recorded Global, it never got out. Okay, fine, great album, out of step. But now we're here with Rhythm of the World in step. And this is going to change everything. And we're real thrilled to have this another opportunity. I almost said last opportunity.
God, no.
Swing at the ball.
This great opportunity. Look, we have an executive producer, Rock Positano. He is part of our big equation of why this is working, why this is who you need, and he's who we got. And
wait, is Rock Positano the former orthopedic?
You got it.
He is not former. He is the number one.
Still is.
Foot guy in New York. He cured Joe DiMaggio's ankle.
I read about that.
He's our guy, dude. He's why Rhythm of the World is here.
Holy crap.
Yeah, holy crap.
That's amazing.
I know.
Now I love rock even more.
We're charmed. Our lives are charmed, y'all.
All right, guys.
We got to love it. My friends, this has been an absolutely wonderful hour with the Cowsills. Brand new album coming out. It drops, September 30th?
Yes, sir.
Brand new album, Rhythm of the World, Omnivore Recordings. the Cowsills. Everybody find them online, find them everywhere. Go to see their shows, buy this new album. Let's make some noise for Cowsills. And
Yay! Thank you guys so much.
I echo Mark's words 100%. And I mean, I want to commend you for never resting on your laurels, never becoming an oldies group like so many from that period have, and just still creating. It's really astounding, and we really are grateful for it.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege. So
Thank you, David
balance.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being
guys.
on with us.
Okay, we'll do it again.
Thank you, Mark.
Later,
we'll
boys.
See you soon.
we'll see you in December.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank
you,
so
Bob.
much, Bob. Right.
Well, there you have it, David. Holy cow. Man.
I mean, you think about that, and you know how many of the groups back then. I mean, I know they were young at the time, so right now they're not too old to rock and roll. But I mean, groups these groups could have 60s groups could have had the opportunity in the 80s or 90s or the aughts to create new albums, and they didn't. And these guys are doing it, and it's really astounding.
Just think about that. They started playing together as the four brothers in 1964. They released, they had the couple compilation albums, but their first official Cowsills album, 1967. And here we are in 2022 talking about a brand new album, Rhythm of the World, which is, not just some shoddy thing put together to, capitalize on their name or whatever history there is. It's a wonderful new album. And,
it really
that was great.
It's still vital, and thank you, Omnivore, for having just having the insight and fortitude to put this album out. We love you even more, and I can't wait to see them in whatever form. Even maybe I can go to that Sirius thing that they're doing, but I'm looking forward to it as well. So yes, as we've been saying, everyone out there, definitely pick up Rhythm of the World and tell your friends also.
Indeed. I mean, it's really quite an album. It's well worth it. And just, as I said, they're everywhere. Just look on Facebook, look on Google, Google Cowsills Rhythm of the World. You'll find it. And they're still out there touring. As I said, they're playing live all the time. They've got the cruise, Flower Power cruise. I wish I could go on that cruise. That'd be kind of nice, but Ches would have something to say about that.
Take them with you. Alan Pecci just handed me a note here. A friend of his from high school plays in the longest running sibling band in America since 1966. Same 6 siblings, 5 brothers and 1 sister. What's their name?
Originally, in the '66, it was the Little Big Shots. And
it's right up there.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the Harris family band.
Wow.
Yeah, they play and stuff like that.
Someone just chimed in and said, vote for Ches. I just got to bring that up. Yeah, Ches is still in first place in America's favorite pet contest. So he says, thank you so much. Vote for Ches. The Harris family.
Yeah.
How many siblings?
6.
6.
5 brothers, 1 sister.
Kind of similar to the Cowsills, actually.
Yeah. Indeed,
no mom.
Indeed. No mom.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, an hour flies by really fast when you have.
Well, we could have talked about the whole Partridge Family thing.
We could have talked about.
Pointed out we didn't even mention hair. I think one of them mentioned hair in passing. I think Bob did in passing, and that was it.
But they're here primarily for the new album, which is what
we really want to push the new album.
But there's another reason to have them back on down the road, just to talk more in depth on some of the old days after.
If they're up for it, we'll certainly have them back.
That'd be awesome. We didn't cover a lot of things, but a lot of that stuff is kind of known. So let's talk about some things. I think we got some good questions in today, even from the old days that they were surprised and were eager to answer. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And next week we're going to have a cool guest as well. Yeah.
The author of the Beach Boys and the California Myth, having done an updated version, David Leaf. That book, had come out originally in the early 80s, I believe, or was it the late 70s? I should look at my original copy. And it created quite a stir in the Beach Boys world because it was so well researched, so well covered. At that point, a lot of very enlightening things. And David had been asked to do an updated version, and he has indeed. And it's come out in the UK already. It will be out the day after the interview we're going to have with him. That would be on September 22nd, my wonderful wife Rena's birthday. So there's your birthday present, honey. A new beach. No, I'm going to have to go. Actually, I'm going to be getting her a purse because the one thing I can't. She has this one purse that she likes, but it has no card holders. And so if she's looking for like a hotel room key or a credit card, so she has to kind of fiddle around in the, it just takes too long. It drives me nuts. So I'm getting,
there goes
you a purse.
There goes the birthday surprise. You're getting a purse.
No, she already knows that.
Hey, real quick, David, I got to show this too. Yeah, I showed the Glenn Campbell single that I got, True Grit. I also picked this one up. It's called The Blob by the Five Blobs. I've never seen it. I've never seen it before.
You kind of have to when you see a title like that.
It's
like a promo too.
It's a Bert Bacharach, Hal David written song for the movie The Blob, as recorded by the Five Blobs.
Is that a promo? Because I don't recall a yellow Columbia label, but maybe there.
It doesn't say anything about a promo, but it does have a weird number on it. The B-side is Saturday Night in Tijuana by Bert Bacharach, by the Five Blobs. But interesting. I saw it and I said, that's just too interesting not to pick up.
Yeah, the way I've been eating, I should reform the Five Blobs. I can be all five of them. And down here, being down here in Arlington with Alan Petchy and all his gang, the Candlelight Inn, a restaurant that he owns, they keep feeding us. There's no way you're going to lose weight down here. I do plan on dieting at some point, but I put the notion of trying to do it here completely to bed because it's impossible.
A late hello from Mallorca, Andy.
Hope
How you
you're
doing?
enjoying it, Andy.
Good to see you.
Well, I've got to get going. I've got some stuff I have to do down here in preparation for IPO starting tomorrow at Black Box 215 here in Arlington. Again, this was an honor.
And of course, everybody, if you haven't already joined the Facebook group here on Facebook Material Issues Group or over on YouTube materialissues.com, please do so. All these shows, 69 of them now, archived for you to watch again or to tell your friends about. A real quick mention, show number 27, we had a great guest from the Head Boys, George Boyder, a good friend of mine. Of course, the Head Boys' lost album was on Pop Detective Records, but George passed away a few days ago. And we just want to send condolences to his family, and God bless, safe travels, my friend. But
Absolutely.
Yeah. Check out episode 27 with George Boyder, all to him. David, as always, enjoy yourself at IPO Arlington this whole weekend. Have a great time. I know you will. If you guys are anywhere near Black Box.
Yeah, actually, I'm in Alan's office here, which is about 150 feet from there. So
it's real close. So check it out, guys. Get down to IPO this weekend at Arlington. It's going to be great. And say hi to David. You got some IPO CDs for that area?
No, now that it's been released by Omnivore,
Omnivore has released it.
You're going, and now that we've hit release date, you're gonna have to buy it.
Going to have to buy it, but it's still well worth it. 3 CDs.
Yeah, you know what you do? Go to everyone when Rhythm of the World comes out on the 30th, or there's probably a pre-order there. Go to the Omnivore site and buy 2 things: the Rhythm of the World and IPO Volume 23.
It saves on shipping the more you buy.
Saves on shipping, and you're going to get all contemporary music. That's right. Not just IPO Volume 23, but the Cowsills. It's newly recorded stuff.
And we'll be back next week with David Leaf. And always, we've got irons in the fire. We've got more Stump the Bashes to play.
Yes.
We've got all kinds of things going on. So stay tuned here to Material Issues. Next week will be episode number 70.
I know. Unbelievable, right? Well, Mark,
David.
as always, it's a pleasure. And I just look forward to next week. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. We look forward to seeing you again. In the meantime, stay happy, stay safe.
Cheers.